and the removal from office. Now, we agreed last time that everybody needs to take a break and go to the bathroom periodically. So before we start on the next section, the most important section of our Constitution, called Power of the Council, before we start on that, we're going to take a short break. If you need to go to the bathroom or get a drink or any of those things, time to do it. Last time, because we ended up going till almost after 9, that we try to be done by 8 o'clock because everybody has things to do and get on with their evening.
I was out partying.
So we'll go ahead and before I start, I want to again remind you all that, to the best of my knowledge, none of us in this room wrote this Constitution. This isn't something that Joe came up with, or George came up with, or Cheryl came up with. This was something that these people on this wall behind you, this is what they came up with. And this is the document that they gave us. And so while it might have worked 40 years or 50 years or 60 years ago, it doesn't work today. And that's the whole reason that we're doing all of this. And so Article 6 of the Constitution, that's really where the most trouble comes from. And because it starts with power of the council. Doesn't say powers of the people.
Last time too, you said that the Bureau or whoever it was picked out the first council.
So yeah, let's back up just a little bit. Prior to the time that we had our current Constitution in 1935, when the government first came here and established the agency, we had our own system. We had clans and we had societies and we had different kinds of leaders. We had war leaders and political leaders and spiritual leaders, and that was how we regulated ourselves as a people prior to the time that we had civilization. That's why the first Browning district wasn't called Browning, it was called Agency, because this is where the agency was. And the old people still in a way had their own system. But the government, their goal was always to control us as people. And through many different policies, the main one being assimilation. Now they called it assimilation, acculturation, even termination. But the ultimate goal of the government was for us as Indians to become like them, to become brown-skinned white people and act like them. And so they did these things to us. One of the things they did was way back when the agent, the Indian agent, he'd want the tribe to do something. And if he couldn't get the regular leaders to agree, the agent picked his own council. I want you to be on the council, and I want you, and I want you. And so he picked people, and he brought them in and told them, oh yeah, this is good for your people, and you need to do these things. The first way back when councils in the late 1800s, they weren't elected by the people. They were picked by the Indian agent. He hand-picked the councils. And then when we got to and so that's the system that we were given. And I think the example I used last time was of the Cherokee people in Oklahoma. You know, the Cherokees started out as an eastern tribe. And for those of you that don't know, that's where that thing called the Trail of Tears came from. They forced the Cherokee to move from North Carolina and their ancestral homes out to Oklahoma in a forced march. And many of them died along the way. And then they put them in what they called Indian country in Oklahoma, and they gave them a reservation. Supposedly that was going